Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to Living Naturally with Michaela, where science meets soul and emotional healing brings physical transformation. This month's theme is Harvest the Shift, and today we're exploring how movement, breath, and grounding can help us align with seasonal change. So let's welcome our resident movement specialist, Dr. Michelle Greenwell. Welcome, Michelle.
Hello, good to be here again, Michaela.
As always, I love having you on. You have a wealth of information to share us when it comes to movement and breath and all of that. And I think that is so important in our overall health. So let's just kind of dive in. But before we get started, what's in your teacup today that you would like to share with us? I know you have something good for us.
I do, because your topic was so beautiful. And something I've been playing with all week is Awesome Island Passion.
Mm.
And this was named Awesome, and then we couldn't come up with another name. It was like, no, that's the name that has to stick. And this tea has a whole bunch of things that would come from the garden. But the affirmation on it is the bounty of summer sunshine grounds us year round. So to think about how the tea is a grounding force rather than, oh, I'm just drinking tea or oh, I'm just drinking water, whatever it is your beverage happens to be, it's just the thing you put in your cup, but it's not. And this opportunity to think about, especially if you've got teas that have a whole bunch of herbs that did come from the garden, then you can be thinking about how those herbs ground you, how they connect you back to the earth when they were growing, how lucky you are that you've harvested them and you get to enjoy them year round. So it's a beautiful piece. And I wanted to highlight two herbs for everyone, because a lot of people will go for ginger, and there is ginger in here.
Yes.
And I wanted to highlight the fact that ginger gives you the opportunity to release so that you can bring in. And people sometimes forget that part. They just want to bring in, but they forget they've got to let go. And part of what the fall is about and harvesting is letting go of that cultivating, growing, nurturing piece. You no longer need to do that. That's all done. So if you have that opportunity to think about, where can I let go so that I can receive things I haven't even been able to look at or do? So that's the one piece. And then the other one is chamomile. I have so many people that ask me, which tea should I drink so that I can go to sleep? And they're always relying on an herb like a medicine, that one herb is going to solve all the problems of sleep, even though we don't know what the patterns were through the day that might have got you to that sleep challenge that you have. But chamomile gives us this opportunity to look at the sun's rays, to look at the inner warmth that comes in. If you think about what chamomile looks like, it's got a beautiful yellow spot in the middle with the white petals on the outside, and it's delicate. And if you think about that ray of sunshine that's coming through, how does chamomile then lift you up and give you the openness in the space? And then that's where rest comes in and the peace can arrive. So I wanted to share that with you, and thank you for asking. So cheers.
Oh, cheers. Cheers. Well, thank you for sharing it with me. I love the whole aspect of letting go so you can receive. It's like, because I think in our lives, in our world, we tend to just kind of like just take in more and more and more and more and more until sometimes we have too much. And before we can take on something else, we really need to let go of something so there is space for it. So I love that you brought that in to the intention today to help us with this whole, the whole idea of harvest the shift, because in the fall, our bodies naturally start to transition along with nature. And so being able to use that to our fullest advantage is actually most beneficial. So thank you for sharing that. So, all right, well, let's get into what today's topic is about. As I mentioned, in the fall, our bodies naturally start to transition and shift right along with nature. A lot of people don't pay attention to that, but it's true. And if we pay attention to that, that can help us to align with what nature's doing so we can benefit from the natural changes that are going on. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Would you agree with
Yep.
that? Okay.
Yep.
So that being said, since you're the movement expert here, how does intentional movement like Tai Chi or energy flow, or even breath work, help us to prepare for seasonal transitions?
Mhm. We have to think, if you go back to Ginger and letting go to receive, you also have to prepare the body for, you were doing things out in the garden, you were busy when the weather was hot, you had different postures you were doing because you were maybe in the garden or pruning, or you were cycling or running, all those different activities, but your activities are going to shift. And
Yes.
it's okay for them to shift. That's one thing, because some people are like, but I always do this. I've been doing this for weeks and weeks. Yes, you have. But now you're going to move into something that's more cultivating, because those other ones were that energy up. And now you want to be bringing yourself into that peaceful place where
Yes.
we go into the hibernation in the next part, right? Not that you're going to stop moving, but your quality of movement is going to be shifting.
Yes.
And so what I'd invite for people to think about is the positions they put themselves into through the day, and also the positions that they pass their hands through.
Mm.
And I know most people, when they're thinking grounding, everybody goes to the feet,
Feet.
which
Yes.
is true. It's very true that you
Yep.
do want to be grounded in your feet. And I've talked about it in other episodes already. So I wanted to look at it a little bit differently. And when you look at the hands, we have 4 hand positions that they pass through when we're doing Tai Chi. And those 4 positions are getting those different energy systems lined up. And so if you start to think about, oh, in what way am I using my hands? It might be it's here typing,
Right.
but you have placing your hand up onto the keyboard. You also have how it comes back down. And it doesn't seem like that's very much, but if you start to repeat that and you repeat it in a balanced way, you have a lot more flow coming through, which is going to get down to your feet.
Yes.
That's not the pattern I was thinking about doing, but now that I'm like, oh, that feels so lovely if I
It
just put my
does.
hands to my computer that way, you know? And
Well,
it's easy, you know, to do this, and you're one,
yeah.
or I have a little bit of a frozen shoulder, so when I lift my one hand, it doesn't lift as beautifully. But when I go through my feet, I go through my body, I let everything lift up, it's all supported. And then if I place that using those positions, then I'm activating all these energy sources. And that is the bounty that comes in the fall.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So, that being said, do you have like a daily grounding ritual or an exercise that you can share with us that could help us align with the seasonal change? I know you always are good for like these little nuggets of exercise and movement. So, do you have
Yeah,
something that you would like to share with us today?
I do. And it's one that's not common that anybody's going to see anywhere. So this is like one of those little exclusive pieces, but it's the words that go with it that allow us to really think about the harvest. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to step back because I'm going to do it seated so that people can see. And I'm just going to bring down my camera, and I'm going to pull this chair out and come back to this chair. Okay, so I talked about that connection in the feet and coming into the body, and how you place your hands up onto the computer. No, that would be nice and slow. Usually we're moving much faster. But if you've been there for a while, think about how that position can come back down. And there's this connection that comes through the feet, comes through the back, comes through the whole body that keeps it balanced. And that's going to be important. But the move I want to give you is the leaves cover the lotus flower. Now, the lotus flower is our energy centers. That's the dynamics of being able to have energy passing through and around us. And what happens with that is you're going to take your right hand over your left, cross it, and just give a little push down. And it's just a very soft sit. You'll feel it go right down into your sit bones. But then the hands pop open, and the phoenix spreads his wings. Now, when the phoenix spreads his wings, that's power. So we have close and prepare, and expand. And then what happens is the moon touches the top of the pine tree. What happens is you take your right hand and you close your fingers up like a little V, and you're going to have your left hand come underneath. So if I put it all together, it goes soften, expand, and sorry, I gave you the wrong piece. So the right hand goes into a cone, left hand goes into a cone. Okay, so I'll do that last part again. So we had open, phoenix spreads his wings, circle your right, circle your left down, one goes over top of the other. And then the last part is you turn your right hand around to receive an offer. So left hand is going to be bringing in, and right hand is going to be letting go. So there's that part I talked about at the beginning. So put the whole sequence together. So it's leaves cover the lotus flower, the phoenix spreads his wings, full power, the moon touches the top of the pine tree. Now, once you've done that little sequence, you can feel this back and forth that happens, and you start to move all the way through the spine, which then goes down to the tailbone and brings that grounding back in, and you keep sitting back and forth into the sit bones, and that's going down your feet. So you're flushing everything through, and you're then rejuvenating and bringing back in. So that's my little movement pattern.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I would suggest you guys keep this bookmarked so you can go back and grab that as often as you need it as we move through this next season. Just like nature, we have our seasons as well. So, Michelle, what takeaway would you like to, or advice that you would like to leave the audience with today as we move into this next transition of the seasons?
I think sometimes we forget to stop and realize how much we have done. And that when we take that moment to reflect, how much have we put in? What are the opportunities we created for ourselves? What does it mean that we can now harvest from? Rather than create, keep doing more, adding more to the list, building, all those lovely things we like to do to ourselves, but instead stopping and going, what have I actually accomplished and done? And how does that make me feel? And how has it supported the other people that have been a part of it, or wherever it's gone to, or even what it means in your own life and how you're doing it? And then embrace that, because we both have our remembrance days, but also our Thanksgivings coming up. So we've got those 2 holidays on their way. And sometimes I think we forget to thank ourselves. We're thankful, we're grateful for, but in what way have we provided as much as we possibly could for ourselves and done the best we could do, rather than judging it still was never enough?
Well, there you have it. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today, Michelle, and sharing your wisdom with us. So, change doesn't begin in your head, it starts in your body. So, gentle, mindful movement creates space for emotional release and energy flow. Just as we talked about today, you release, you let go in order to receive. That's what harvesting is about. What have you already put in place in the previous seasons that you can harvest now in this season of harvest? So that is it for today's show. Thank you guys for joining us today. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to explore the full Harvest the Shift collection for more resources to support your transformation. Check out Michelle's tea and check out other resources that I have available as well that can help you through this time of transition and transformation. That is it for today. And until next time, remember, wellness isn't a destination, it's your daily journey. Bye.